talking about this science exhibition going on somewhere in the European country, where budding scientists from all the college and universities from the worldwide have participated. Now we have made the group. Group A is the host group. Group B is the participants group. In participant group, we have made the subgroups on the basis of countries. So there is Indian group, Japanese group, European group, Russian, African and USA. In Indian groups, we have made further subgroups on the basis of states. So there is a group Maharashtra, group Madhya Pradesh, group Jammu Kashmir, group Kerala. In Maharashtra group, we have further subcategorized them on the basis of the region. Marathwada group, Vidarbha group, rest of Maharashtra group. In rest of Maharashtra group, we have further subcategorized them on the basis of districts. So there is a Kolhapur group, there is a Nasik group, there is a Pune group, there is a Mumbai group, there is a Raigad group. In Mumbai group, there are n number of different regions, right? There is a Parel, there is a Worli, there is a Borivali, there is a Navi Mumbai, Nerul, Khandeshwar. There are western suburbs, there is Thane, Dombivli, Kalyan. So these are the different areas, localities in the Mumbai. And these localities contain the different colleges. Let's give a name of one college, let's say XYZ or ABC, or let's give it a more specific name, let's call it a Happy College of Science. So this Happy College of Science is situated at Nerul. Starting from the group participants, we have come down with this hierarchy on the different criterias. In group participants, there is an Indian group, in which there is a Maharashtra group, in which there is a rest of Maharashtra group, which consists of a Mumbai group, which consists of the group which has participated from the Happy College of Science, which is situated at Nerul. So now I am denoting to the specific group of 5 to 10 students of biology which belong to the area Nerul in Mumbai, in Maharashtra, in India, and which are from College of Happy College of Science. Now, if we are standing right now in that science exhibition, do I need to actually go through Indian students, then Maharashtrian students, then Mumbai students? No, not at all. If I simply announce students of Happy College of Science, Nerul, please contact to the desk. Obviously those 5 to 10 students from all those thousands of students, they will come to the desk. So they are identified with the specific name Nerul Happy College of Science, because this combination is unique. There is no other Nerul and Happy College of Science throughout the world. This was an example. Let's correlate it with the taxonomic categories. Let's consider this science exhibition and thousands of biologists, budding biologists have gathered over there. That is a living world. So we categorize them into 2 kingdoms. One is a kingdom host and another is a kingdom participants. Now in kingdom participants, there are different phylum or divisions. Phylum India, division Japan, that sort of divisions. So in phylum India, there are different classes. Class Maharashtra, class Kerala, class Jammu Kashmir. In this class, let's choose a class Maharashtra. In this class Maharashtra, there are different orders. Order Marathwada, order Vidarbha, or order rest of Maharashtra. Let's choose this order rest of Maharashtra. In rest of Maharashtra, there are different families. Family Kolhapur, family Nasik, family Mumbai, family Raigad. Let's choose a family Mumbai. In family Mumbai, there are different genus. Genus Nerul, genus Khandeshwar, genus Dadar, genus Parel. Let's choose a genus Nerul. In this genus, there are different species. Species ABC College of Science, species XYZ College of Science, species Happy College of Science. So we are talking about genus Nerule, species Happy College of Science. Do you get it where I want you people to concentrate? So this is how these taxonomic categories are in specific hierarchy. Those are the actual classification of all the species of living worlds. This is how we categorize them on the basis of similar properties they exhibit. So forget about the kingdom participants and phylum India and class Maharashtra. Forget this nomenclature, it was just an example. But actually in classification of this living world, while using this taxonomic categories in whole hierarchy, we are talking about kingdom Animalia, kingdom Plantae, or in a short form we can say a plant kingdom or an animal kingdom. All the living world is divided into two kingdoms. One kingdom consists of all the animals, one kingdom consists of all the plants. Now in these kingdoms there are different phylum or phyla, we should say. In kingdom Plantae there are different divisions. Now these divisions consist of different classes. These classes, one single class consists of different orders. One order consists of different families. One family consists of different genuses, and one genus consists of different species. This is how this hierarchical system is there. Actually, we should go from species to kingdom in ascending order to understand this binomial nomenclature and its taxonomical hierarchy. But this taxonomical hierarchy and this taxonomical system of grouping or categorization or classification of living world actually allow us to exactly denote a specific species at this specific level. Where do we exactly belong? For example, if I talk about a human being, what is our scientific name? Do you people know? Our scientific name is Homo sapiens. Now you can definitely say Homo is a genus, sapiens is the species. Correct. Now this is our species and genus. What about family? What is our family? Homo sapiens belong to the family Hominidae. There are different families. There is a family Felidae, which actually consists of different genuses. Panthera, then Felis. Panthera, Felis are actually a cat group. In this cat group, in Felis, all the cats are there. In Panthera, all the wild cats are there. There's tiger or panther or lions. Lion's name is Panthera leo. Tiger's name is Panthera tigris. So all these genuses, Panthera, Felis, they fall under which family? They fall under the family Felidae. And which family we fall under? Human beings, Homo sapiens, we fall under Hominidae. So Hominidae and Felidae are different families, but those different families actually fall under which order? This is how we should go in ascending order to understand where exactly we belong to. This is a very vast subject, but we will definitely try to understand this taxonomical categorization with the examples. We will talk about different organisms and their binomials, their scientific biological name, and where they belong to. So let's see, as a human being, where exactly we belong to in this taxonomical category. Let's go in the ascending orders. Our species is sapiens. Our genus is Homo. So our name is Homo sapiens. A biological scientific name of a human being is a Homo sapiens. Now, this Homo sapiens belong to which family? We belong to family Hominidae. This Hominidae family falls under which order? Order Primata. Because we are primates. Which are the other families in the, or other organisms or other living things in this primata order? All the primates, all gibbons, monkeys and all other. So we are close relatives, you know. So all these order primata falls under which class? Class Mammalia. They all are mammals, right? There are different mammals under different orders, out of which there are few primates. We are the primates. In primates, we are different. In mammals, there are different families. We are family Hominidae and we are Homo sapiens. So, class Mammalia falls under which phylum? Phylum Chordata. Now, what is phylum Chordata? Phylum Chordata denotes all those animals which have notochord or which have the hollow dorsal neural system. Means all the animals which have a backbone in one or other form, those fall under Chordata. And this phylum Chordata belongs to kingdom Animalia. So as a human being, in this scientific taxonomical categorization, where do we fall? We fall under kingdom Animalia, in phylum Chordata, in order Primata, in class Mammalia, and in family Hominidae, genus Homo, species Sapiens. This is how we classify any single species in this taxonomic categories. But we do not need to every time denote them with kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, and all those 7 categories. No need of that. We simply have to take the name from genus and the species. So when we want to denote a human being, we simply say Homo sapiens, and we are there at that place. So ultimately, we can conclude that this taxonomic categories or a taxa or a taxon, what is that? It's a group of an organism or a living things which denote very similar properties or very similar criteria, characterization, characters. So we can say that in a descending order, the last taxa is species. So obviously, organisms or living things which fall under a single species, they must exhibit all similar characteristics. Similarities between all the living organisms in a single species must be 90 to 100%. But as we go up in ascending order of the taxonomic categories from species to genus, in genus there are n number of species, but those fall under same genus. So the animals which are there in the same genus, they share few lesser qualities, few lesser characteristics than what they share in species. Automatically, how higher we go, the similarities goes on decreasing in number, and we look at very broad perspective. Broadly, 3-4 basic characteristics, those are similar, so they fall under this taxon. This is how this hierarchy works. Now, which are the aids which help us understanding this taxonomical categories? There are few aids. We can name them. One is the herbarium. What is herbarium? Herbarium is plant specimens are taken, those are dried and those are pressed and those are preserved on the pages with all their information. So that becomes a sample of a plant. It may be its leaf, it may be its roots or a bark or a branch sample, whatever. So such sheets of information of the plants are preserved in the form of herbarium. It's filed and different files are given the name, and those are actually kept according to the classification, according to the nomenclature. So that becomes a library for reference to understand the kingdom plantae or the world of the plants. So herbarium is one very important aid which help us get to know these taxonomical categories of plants. What about the live plants? Where do we get to know them better? Yes, botanical gardens. Where do we have our biggest botanical garden? We have a national botanical garden at Lucknow. There is also a botanical garden at Howrah, India, in Calcutta, West Bengal. In these botanical gardens, there are different species of plants grown in the human care, and in a single place we get to know many species altogether, just like there is in a jungle. Every plant is given a specific name with their biological names, and they are given the numbers. So in that botanical garden, when we go roam around, we get to know about the different plants. So that is one of the very important aid which help us knowing this taxonomical categories. This was about the plants. What about the animals? For animals, there are many museums. In those museums, the animal samples are preserved in the glass jar, in some preservatives. Also, some of the plant sample specimens also preserved there in same fashion. Few of the animal samples are also preserved in dried conditions. When we go to the museum, we can see those samples in a glass jar preserved in some specific preservatives, or we can say dried samples of the organs or those plants. Many times we can see the skeletons only of those animals. You must have seen it in the any museum where there is a skeleton displayed of the dinosaurs, right? A huge skeleton. So that is one part of the preserving animal things. Also, in those museums, there are the dried up samples of animals which are stuffed and kept there as if there is a real animal. But this was all about the preserved animal specimens. What about the live animals? Yes, as a kid also we love to visit those places. Those are called as zoological gardens or zoo. In zoo, there are different species of the animals kept together under the proper man care. And as much as possible, they are given their natural habitat so that we can understand more about their behavior, their needs, and their characteristics. So, museums, zoological gardens are another aids which help us get to know about these taxonomical categories. There are the keys to get to know taxonomical categories even better. What is this keys? Actually, key is another taxonomical aid used for identification of plants and animals based on the similarities and dissimilarities. Actually, key are based on the contrasting characters used generally in the pair.
Choose the right kindergarten, a right bag, and matching bottle to go with. The right school, the right friends. Choose the right subjects and score well. Be an expert in all. The right teacher, and make sure that they like you. Choose the right timing, the right bus, and take a cab if getting late. The right train, and don't stand near the gates. Mind the pockets. Better get into ladies' compartment. Make sure your mustache hasn't started coming. Choose the right study time and forget games. IPL, IHL, rock and metal, guitar, axe. The right group and be a model to your brother. Seriously. Choose the right syllabus, the right test paper. Keep guessing questions for exams. Choose the right branch, the right college, the right stream. Choose the right career. Lucky to have a father's business to take care of and a father to allow that. The right counselor, the right form, and make sure the project is submitted on time. Choose the right website and rely on your friends for more information. Oblivious of the sites they have been to, there is no end to your woes. Getting better with every step you climb up the ladder. The summer vacation shorter, the bucket list bigger. The night darker, the books heavier. The only light you have is your friends ahead of you. Probably he is right. Ever thought how he got the direction? No more spending your energy and money on coaching classes. No more missing classes for rain, rally, and nonsense. Get your interest back in subjects through our creative ways of teaching. Doubts, concepts, applications, all explained through one vibrant animation. Subjects covered by multiple teachers with repeat telecasts. Special programs only for basic foundation and paper analysis. Personality development, career counseling, admissions, hobbies, all covered. A new approach to study with long-term perspective. So sit back comfortably in your homes and watch Study Spectrum TV channel.
So the another aid for this to knowing better these taxonomical categories are keys. They are used for the identification of different taxons. What are these keys? Actually, these keys are based on the contrasting characters, generally in the pair called couplets. It represents the choice made between two opposite options. So automatically it results in acceptance of one and rejection of another. Different keys are required for the different taxonomic categories such as family or genus or the species. So all the aids we are talking about to get to know this taxonomic categorization better are herbarium, botanical gardens, museum, zoological parks, keys, and apart from those there are also few other aids which we can go through like monologues. Apart from all these herbarium, botanical gardens, zoological parks, museum and keys, there are other aids also which consist of flora, manuals, monographs, catalogs and some other means of recording descriptions where we can have all this information of the species recorded and through which we can understand their taxonomical categories even better. They help us in correct identification. That's why these aids are more important. Like flora. Flora contains the actual account of habitat and distribution of the plants. Then monologues, manuals, and all these different aids which help us in taxonomical categories identification. So in this chapter, in the living world, what exactly we have gone through? This living world is diversified vastly. It consists of 1.7 to 1.8 million species. And what is exactly the living thing? Living thing is a self-replicating, evolving, self-regulating, interacting system with the capability to respond the external stimuli. And it exhibits a huge diversity. To understand, to study this diversity, we need a proper identification. We need a proper nomenclature. We have seen this scientific biological nomenclature, which consists of genus and the species. And for the proper classification, because we cannot study each and every organism separately, so we need to put them in a groups, in a class. So there is a specific way of categorization of the living things that is called taxonomy. Taxonomical categories are kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus and species. And to understand this taxonomic categories better, to identify the species with proper taxonomical category, we have to a help which are herbarium, botanical gardens, then zoological parks, museums, keys, and also manuals, catalogs, and floras. So let's go through the questions and let's try to understand this question and find out the answers for those. First question goes like, why are living organisms classified? Very simple. As we told, all the living organisms exhibit a huge diversity. If we try to study them with one organism at a time, it's highly impossible to do so. So we need to classify them on the basis of what characteristics they exhibit. On that criteria, we can group them and we can classify them in a different groups, and we can study that group because that group exhibits the same characteristics. Next questions, why are the classification system changing every now and then? Actually, this question has to do with the history of study of biology. We'll go for the next question. What different criteria would you choose to classify people that you meet often? Very interesting questions, right? If you are given opportunity to choose your own criteria to classify people you meet every day, let's make a list of whom we meet every day. In the morning, we meet our family. When we wake up, then we go to our college. We meet our friends, we meet teachers. On the way, we meet different professionals. In public transport, in bus if you are traveling, we meet conductor, we meet drivers, we meet co-passengers. After the college, if we go to the classes or we go for the sports, we meet their sport people, we meet their coaches. While coming back from there, we meet shopkeepers, we meet rickshawalas. And then coming back to the home, we meet our again colony friends. So these many peoples we meet often. How do we categorize them on a different, what criteria will be used? This is an interesting question. Let's make some categories. Categories based on the relationships. So we can categorize family, friends, acquaintance. These can be the categories on the basis of our relationship with them. Or we can utilize the criteria profession. Then teacher is one profession, driving is one profession, shopkeeping is one profession, student itself is one profession. We can categorize the people with this criteria as well. We can make another criteria, age. Age group can also be a very good criteria to classify these people we meet often in everyday life. We can have the group of teenage, which group we belong to, right? We can make the age group of young people from 20 to 40. We can make this seniors group from 40 to 60, and we can make the aged people's group senior citizens, and we can make the group of child, which are from newborns to the 10, 11 years old. This can be the also criteria for classification of these people. So there can be a different criteria on the basis of which we can classify the people we often meet on day-to-day life. What do we learn from identification of individuals and populations? Can you think? When we talk about a population consists of many individuals altogether. When we talk about the single individual, it's a single organism. Let's take an example of a dog. A dog, my pet, is an individual. When I'm talking about a group of dog or a population of that species of the dog, let's take an example of German Shepherd. If I talk about all the German Shepherd population in my city, that's the population. So when I do the identification on the taxonomical categories of an individual or a population, what I get to know is there are the characteristics which an individual exhibit. Those same categories are exhibited by each and every organism in that population. So ultimately, I get to know the importance of taxonomical categorization, through which the study of living organisms or living things has become simpler nowadays. Next question, given below is the scientific name of mango. Identify the correct written name, Mangifera indica and Mangifera indica, but In the first option, Mangifera is a genus name, it has started with the capital, and also Indica, the species name, it also has started with the capital letter. In second option, the first letter, genus name Mangifera, has started with the capital letter, and the second species name Indica has started with the small letter. Now you must have remembered what I was talking about binomial nomenclature. The rule is, first genus name will start with the capital and the species name will start with small letter. So the second option, Mangifera indica, is correct. Next question, define a taxon. Give some example of taxa at different hierarchical level. Now what is a taxa? We have already discussed it in taxonomical categories. Actually taxa is a group, a category of an organism at the different hierarchical level, in which we put those organisms, we group them for this purpose of study, which exhibit the similar properties. For example, there are 7 taxonomical categories. Let's say kingdom. Example for the kingdom is kingdom Animalia, kingdom Plantae. Then there is a phylum. Which phylum do we know about? Phylum Chordata, phylum Insecta. Then there is a class Mammalia. Then there is a order Primata. Then there is a family Felidae, family Hominidae, genus Homo, Panthera, and species Sapiens or Tigris or Leo. So all these are examples of different taxons at different hierarchical levels. Let's go to the next question. The question is, can you identify the correct sequence of taxonomical categories? Option A, species, order, phylum and kingdom. Option B, genus, species, order and kingdom. Option C, species, genus, order and phylum. Now, we are talking about an ascending order of different taxons. Option C, it starts with the species. Species is the last taxon in the descending order of taxonomic categories. So species, then genus, then order, then phylum is ascending order is correct. When we see about the option A, species, then order, then phylum and then kingdom, this ascending order is also correct. If we see about genus, species, order and kingdom, genus doesn't come before the species because genus is on higher category than species in taxonomical categories. So it should be species, genus, family, order, class, phylum and kingdom. So on this ascending order, correct sequence of taxonomical categories if you want to look, then ascending order is correct in A, species, order, phylum and kingdom, and also in C, species, genus, order and phylum. Let's go to the next question. Try to collect all the currently accepted meanings of the word species. Discuss with your teacher the meaning of species in case of higher plants and animals on the one hand and bacteria on other hand. It's a very interactive and interesting question. This is actually an activity we can all do. When we talk about the species, it has got many meanings. Specifically when we talk about the multicellular higher organisms and the unicellular or microbes. In plants or in animals, species means in that taxonomical category, species is the last category. For example, in primates, in mammals, in the family Hominidae, there used to be different species. Or in the primates, there are different species. Gibbons fall under the primates, but those belong to different species. Humans also fall under the primates, but those belong to different species. Gorillas, chimpanzees, all these are mammals and primates, but they fall under different species. So species, when we talk about the higher organisms, species denotes the specific group. But when I talk about the bacteria, there are different species of bacteria. Next question, define and understand the following terms. One is phylum, class, family, order and genus. Phylum is a group of different classes which exhibit the similar characteristics, and it falls on the second number of descending order of 7 taxonomical categories. What is the class then? Class is a group of different orders which exhibit similar properties and which falls under the taxonomical category on number 3 in the descending order. What is family? Family is a group of different genuses which exhibit the similar properties. Order is a taxonomical category which is a group of different families which exhibit the similar groups, and genus is a group of different species which exhibit the similar properties. Next question is, how is the key helpful in identification and classification of an organism? Now we have already seen in the aids of taxonomical categories, keys represent the choice of two opposite characteristics. So one is chosen, another is rejected. This key helps us in specific identification of taxonomical categories in an analytical way, because keys are always, there are the sentences which we call as a leads. So the keys are always in a couplets, or two words which are actually opposite characteristics. Next question, illustrate the taxonomical hierarchy with suitable example of plant and an animal. If we go with the animal example, human being, we have already gone through kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Primata, order. If we talk about the human beings, kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primata, family Hominidae, genus Homo, and species Sapiens. So we name human being as a Homo sapiens.